Hey, let's talk about an herb that's absolutely fantastic for your brain. Hi, I'm Dr. Patrick Jones from the Homegrown Herbalist School of Botanical Medicine, and I want to talk a little bit about ginkgo biloba. So, ginkgo biloba, it's a tree, uh, and it's a very commonly used ornamental. You see it all over the place in parks, and college campuses, and government buildings, people's yards. Really a pretty tree. Um, and it has some really remarkable medicinal properties. Um, but most commonly, it's used for brain stuff. That's what most people know it for. And I have to tell you a story. I was in a local, very large uh, grocery store years ago, and I was walking down the vitamin aisle, and they've got vitamins and herbs and health things, right? And I picked up a bottle and it was ginkgo biloba capsules, and it was about $30, $35, and I thought, ginkgo. They say that this stuff is really, really good for making you smarter. It said it on the bottle that it was good for your brain, and I thought, 35 bucks. That sounds great, right? So I took it home, and I took it every day for a month, and I ran out of them, right? So I went back to the store, and I went back to the aisle, and I picked up the bottle, and I said, wait a minute, 35 bucks for a bottle of herb capsules? That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. I put it back on the shelf and I didn't buy it. So it worked, right? I mean, I got really a lot smarter, better at math, better at reasoning, better at confirming outcomes and predicting results. Now, this all happened a very long time ago, before I was much of an herbalist at all. And the fact is that if you use good ginkgo, you get much different results than that. Um, Sadly, there are no controls on the quality of commercial herbs, and a lot of the stuff that you can buy at grocery stores or other places like that, um, they either don't have very much of the actual herb in them, or it's not very good quality, or it's been harvested badly, or dried badly, or stored badly, or who knows what. Um, but if you want good ginkgo, get it from somebody that's serious about it and is selling a good product. All right, but that is what a lot of people use it for, is improved cognitive function, right? And it's especially good, they've found in the research studies, it's especially good for folks that are having, age-related cognitive decline. People that can't, their memory's just not as good as it used to. Uh, they can't remember their kids' names, can't remember what it was they came into the room for, right? I had an experience in my veterinary practice. I was talking to an older gentleman, and he says, Doc, he says, the older I get, the more experiences I have with the hereafter. I said, oh, really? Yeah. He says, I am all the time walking into a room and saying, what the heck was I here after? Right? So ginkgo can help with that. Um, it also, in addition to helping memory and helping thinking, which is cognitive function, right? It can also help with concentration. It can help with focus. And it doesn't have to be an old guy. I mean, if you're a college student, you got exams coming up, take some ginkgo, right? Um, Ginkgo is also a powerful antioxidant. And that's another way that it can really help the brain. Antioxidants protect tissues in the body from oxidative stress, from free radicals, right? So what's a free radical? So a free radical is a chemical that's produced by the body, through normal cellular metabolism. Um, and free radicals are basically molecules that are missing an electron on their outer shell. And I don't know if you remember, ninth grade chemistry. If you don't, take some ginkgo. But molecules don't like to be missing an electron on their outer shell. It makes them really grumpy, and they really want that electron, and so they're very reactive, and they'll grab an electron from some other poor molecule that wasn't watching, or they'll bind with things and react with things. They're extremely reactive. And so, free radicals damage cellular processes. They damage enzymes. They make things not work. They damage cellular walls and tissues, And so antioxidants are chemicals that make those free radicals behave. And they do that in lots of ways. Sometimes they eliminate them. Sometimes they give them an electron and make them happy. Sometimes they decrease production of free radicals. It's a big category, antioxidants. But ginkgo is chock full of them. Really good. The other thing that ginkgo does that contributes a lot to some of its functions is that it's a vasodilator. So a vasodilator, vaso is vein and dilate is dilate, right? Make it bigger and more open. So what ginkgo is doing is it's opening up circulation. And what does that mean? Think about it. If you were a brain cell and you got all the oxygen you wanted whenever you wanted it, and you got all the carbon dioxide taken away whenever you had any, and you got all the groceries you needed all day, every day, no interruptions, and you got all the neurotransmitters from all the other cells that are trying to talk to you, if you got all the hormones from the pituitary gland and the rest of the endocrine system that are trying to talk to you and tell you things, if everything was just moving so beautifully, if traffic was just perfect, right? If you're on the freeway and there's no cars, because the freeways are really wide, right? And so ginkgo does that. It opens up circulation. And all of those things benefit cellular function, right? Especially brain function, because the brain really needs food, mostly glucose, right? But it really needs it. And the brain really needs oxygen. In fact, if you're having trouble anywhere else in the body, your body will shut down circulation to everything before it shuts down circulation to the brain. And the brain is really kind of important for some people, and also really dependent on good oxygen levels and good sugar levels, nutrient levels. And so ginkgo provides it with what it needs, right? And that has all kinds of effects. Improves memory, improves cognitive function, decreases free radicals also in that way. Anyway, fantastic property. The antioxidant and the free radical are two great properties. Another property that ginkgo has that a lot of people don't know about is it has some neuroprotective effects. And so what does that mean? Well, that means that when brain cells or nerve cells are in danger, like something bad is happening to them, like, the guy's having a stroke, or he is hypoxic, maybe he doesn't have enough oxygen for a minute, or there's inflammation and illness, or there's some kind of toxin or whatever, I don't care. Something bad is happening to the brain, and those nerve cells in the brain, those brain cells, are struggling and in danger of being damaged or dead. Ginkgo has some properties in aiding the preservation and restoration of those nerve cells, okay, and preventing that cell damage from happening. So that's really fantastic for, all the things I just mentioned, but also things like strokes, right? And I've used ginkgo, and I use other things with it, but I've used ginkgo on a lot of stroke cases in the veterinary practice, and have helped with physicians participating too, with a lot of stroke cases in humans. Not a lot of humans, but, half a dozen, I guess. And in all those cases, we had full recovery. In all the animal cases I treated in my vet practice, and in the 6 or 8 humans I've worked with, we had full recovery from stroke if it was done at the time that the stroke was happening or shortly after. And I'm not saying, take ginkgo instead of going to the hospital. If you're having a stroke, get to the ER right now, because it's critical that you get the care that they have too. But like I say, on the cases I've addressed in the veterinary practice where I was in the hospital, and in those 6 or 8 folks that, we were able to work with too, we had full recovery from those strokes, largely due to the ginkgo. And again, there were some other herbs involved with that too. Ginkgo has also been shown in research to have some beneficial effects on dementia, on Alzheimer's disease, and it's not going to cure it. It's not going to reverse, damage that's been done already to the brain. If you give it to somebody that had a stroke a year ago, it'll help what they have work better, but it's not going to reverse cellular death that happened a year ago, right? And the same thing with Alzheimer's. If you have someone with Alzheimer's, if you have someone with senile dementia, ginkgo can help what they have work better. Okay, so their memory will improve, their cognitive functioning will improve, everything will improve. It doesn't have the power to grow them a new brain and replace cells that died. Okay, but making what you have work better is great too. And then lastly, there's also some good research on ginkgo for anxiety. It has some properties, and again, some of this is due to improved circulation from the vasodilating effect. Some of it's probably due to antioxidant function, but it's also due to just some chemistry in ginkgo that can help with anxiety. And so, I mean, how long are we talking? 4 or 5 minutes? And there's all kinds of things that ginkgo can do for your brain and for your mind and for your thinking and your memory. There's way more other things it can do that have nothing to do with your brain. Cardiovascular system, circulatory system in general. I mean, I could go on and on. And in fact, we do go on and on. We're not going to take time here on YouTube to do it, but in the Homegrown Herbalist School of Botanical Medicine, we get very deeply into the herbs. Instead of talking about it for 5 minutes, we'll talk about it for an hour or two on one herb. And ginkgo also is mentioned in a lot of other lessons in the school. I mean, we talk about it in wound management lessons. We talk about it in the nervous system, obviously. We just talked about that. But in all kinds of other places, we're talking about where we use ginkgo for this and for that. It's an amazing herb. Really, the safety margins are very good for it. Don't take it if you're pregnant. Don't take it if you're nursing. But otherwise, and don't combine it with medications. Don't combine any herb with medications without talking to your doctor. But otherwise, it's a fantastic plant. The leaf's the medicine. You harvest the leaves in the fall when they start turning yellow. That's the best time to get them, right when the flavonoids are really excited and at eye levels. But that's it. Make a tea, make a tincture, put them in your smoothie, whatever you got to do to get them into your body. But there you go. Ginkgo biloba. I'm Dr. Patrick Jones from the Homegrown Herbalist School of Botanical Medicine. If you liked the video, click the little like button, click the subscribe button, and most important, put something in the comments about how you're using ginkgo. Because I always learn something cool when I talk to other people about herbs. It's not fair that you guys get to learn everything. You've got to teach me some stuff too. So go in the comments, tell us success stories you've had with ginkgo, and I'd love to read them and we can talk about it. I'm Dr. Patrick Jones. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.